Here is part 1 of our test number 1. 5 questions, Q1 through 5. Let's look at the first question. Change databases. This question, pretty simple. We talk about it many times in class. It is regarding the initial parameters. Answer true. Based on your grading, nobody missed this one. So error rate is 0%. That's pretty good. Yeah. So I explain it quickly. We know we just modify web.xml. Okay. Specifically, we editing this servlet element, and we put that init param element name value pair for the parameter, for the initial parameter. So when we do this way, so you will see we do not touch any Java source file, so we do not need to compile our Java code. So that is very convenient. All right. So we go to the next one. Question number 2 is related to a concept, stateful and stateless. So in class, I explained this concept. Answer B, false. HTTP protocol is not stateful. Error rate 24%. About 1/4 of the students missed this question. So that's it is not a low rate. Okay. All right. Let me explain it. Stateful means the technology can maintain users' state information. So what's the state information? So the information specifically related to the user's information. So like user's first name, last name, and many other related items. Yeah. So sometimes we need to use stateful technology. Another one, stateless. It does not maintain users' state information. Okay. Sometimes we need to use stateless technology. For example, when we do math calculation, we don't need to use user's state, because for different users, when we do math calculation, we do the same operation. So that's not for different users, the math operation, addition, multiplication, division will be different. So that's not true. So for a lot of data processing, we just need a stateless operation. Okay? All right, so that's this concept. So now let's look at HTTP protocol. For HTTP protocol, why we want to make it stateless, not stateful? Yeah. There is some reason. If it is stateful, we know stateful uses more resources, because in order to maintain user state information, you need to have more support, okay? More resources. Yeah. So that will result in slower performance. So that's not very good. Yeah. So when people design HTTP protocol, they want to make it simple and fast. Okay? So they do not want to add complexity handling stateful information. Okay? All right. So if you, because sometimes we really need to handle stateful information, then you can use other technologies, like we put here sessions, cookies. So there are other additive technologies that can handle users' state information. All right, so that's the background. Let's go to the next one. Question 3 about automatic compilation. This issue I explained many times in class, but still a lot of students missed this one. Answer is false. Error rate 44%. So that's really high. Although it's not the highest, but that's pretty high. Yeah. Close to 1/2 of the students. Yeah. So why still so many students miss this one? Yeah. So I think probably partial reason, not those students did not read the question carefully. Yeah. So let me explain it. Servlets, we know, they are automatically compiled by the IDE. Okay. So you may have the experience. You never need to manually compile servlets. So then you may automatically assume they are compiled automatically, but by what? Which component compiles the servlets? So that's the main issue. So here, the correct answer is by the IDE, yeah. Not by the container. Yeah. By the container, that is wrong. Okay, so automatic compiled. So this part is correct, but you need to look at by what. Okay, yeah. By the contrast, JSP situation. The JSP, we know there are translated servlets for those JSP files. Okay. They are compiled by the container. Okay, so do not get confused. And in this question, the last sentence, I give you the condition. They are not JSP translated servlets. Okay? Yeah. So that's not the second case, the first case. Yeah. So for that reason, the answer is false. Okay, so that's question 3. Question 4, data in request line and body. We spent a lot of time studying this topic in class. Okay. The answer is A, post. Yeah. Missing rate 12%. Yeah. So that's relatively low. Yeah, 12%. Yeah. About 1/8 of the students. Okay. All right. So why? Yeah, so let me quickly explain. Yeah. First, we know for the get method, it just uses the request line. It never uses the request body. So that's simple. For the post method, we know it uses the request body. So that's for sure. Another thing that is not quite clear for many students is it can also use the request line. Yeah, so this fact originally, so not many students knew about it, but in class I gave an example. So in my example, I show you how to send data using the post method, but we can store some data in the request line. Yeah. The way that in the example I give you is in a HTML form. For the action, we write the URL in this way. Okay, my servlet question mark, the parameter. We can also use PM equals some value, using this way to set. And in our experiment, so you can see this parameter can be sent to the server through the request line. Okay. So this example is very interesting. So I hope everyone can memorize this example. All right. So that's number 4. The last one of part 1. Number 5. So that is about database connection for production version. So not for development version. Okay, production version. We know for the production version, the performance is a key issue. Okay. For development version, so we may not care much about the performance. Yeah. All right. The answer B, no. Yeah. Missing rate 24%. Okay. Yeah. So that is not a low number. So let me explain it. We know for the init method, it is only called once in the servlet life cycle. Okay? Yeah. So for this property, then we know if you put a database connection in this method, you only have one chance to make the database connection. Okay? Only one chance. Okay? So that means if you close the database connection, then you do not have any more chance to reopen it. Okay? So then this server cannot be used because you cannot access database anymore. So that's not good. Okay? So that means if you use this method, if you put a database connection in this method, you have to keep it open all the time. Otherwise, you cannot use it anymore. Okay? So when you keep it open every time, then think about many users call this servlet simultaneously, then you will have many open database connections. So that will occupy a lot of memory resource and you cannot close them. So that's really bad. Okay? All right. So there is a better way. So I talk about in class several times. Connection pooling method. Okay? So this is an advanced method. This is the best method for production version. Although we haven't studied the detail of connection pooling, but the basic idea I explained a little bit in class. Okay? Yeah, because this technology is pretty complex. So for our programmers, we do not want to handle this complexity. Okay? So we want to focus our effort on business development. Okay? Yeah. So not on this kind of complex task. So that part is shifted to the server. So the server maintains the connection pooling, and it does it efficiently. All right. And later, I will give you one simple example using connection pooling. So then I will explain the theoretical background about connection pooling. All right. So for the part 1, we completed. So we have 4 other parts left. All right.